left. Andrew Mccloskey is on your right. Mono Green Tron versus Hogak. Both these players, well, they're not 4-1. Dom is 4-0-1, where Andrew is 4-1, and Dom is on the play, which I think is pretty important for this matchup. He'll play an Urza's Power Plant into a Chromatic Sphere. While here's the Stitcher Supplier revealing Assassin's Trophy, Gravecrawler, and Marsh Flats. Dom will sacrifice that sphere for a green mana, obviously, and a Tower of Power, plus there is the mine. He is a very skilled magician, as you can see.
Yes, it's complicated stuff. He's navigated it very well so far.
An Overgrown Tomb here from Mccloskey. And he'll play another Stitcher's, excuse me, it's a Satyr Wayfinder, milling over a bunch of cards, among them a Crypt Breaker. Blood Crypt is added to the hand, no Hogak, and it's draws like this where Mono Green Tron is probably going to have a pretty easy time of it.
Yeah, that seems, if Harvey's got any of the reasonable payoffs, should not be that hard to win from here.
Yeah. The question is, does he have a payoff? As he is taking his time here on this turn on exactly what to do. Maybe he has multiple payoffs that he's selecting from, but he's beginning to tap a lot of mana, so here we go. All right, Karn liberated. Now do you go up or do you go down?
I mean, it seems to me in theory, especially, I guess you're pretty sure there's no Hogak in hand. You would have seen that last turn. I don't know. It seems so mopey to go after any. This gives you so much insurance if the Karn has this much loyalty of being able to pick off something impactful. And there's just no way for Mccloskey to assail it. It's just too much loyalty.
That'll be a dredge 4. Among them, 2 copies of Faithless Looting, another copy of Gravecrawler headed to the graveyard. Looks like there's actually 3 copies of Faithless Looting. There's a Blood Crypt that's going to enter the battlefield untapped. Mccloskey's going to fall a little bit lower and then flashback Faithless Looting. So he'll draw 2 cards and discard 2. But his draw is a little clunky at this stage of things. I don't see a Hogak in the graveyard now either. So these 2 creatures are going to knock Karn down to 8. And that's a win if you're Dom Harvey, because that means your Karn's still on the battlefield and it can do what Karn does. Start to take over this game.
And not much to speak of in Mccloskey's graveyard, in spite of all the dredging and looting and what have you. I think just a Bloodghast and a Gravecrawler down there too, but again, it's all pretty low impact stuff.
There's a Blast Zone. That being a 1-of for Harvey this week, and that's a card you can find with Sylvan Scrying and Expedition Map. That can be a unique answer to problems. He'll be tapping 8. Well. Ugin, eat a green source. Planeswalker party!
Yeah, try to cut Mccloskey out of being able to hard cast Vengevine.
Mccloskey's going to play a Bloodstained Mire, get back a Bloodghast, sacrifice that Mire, fall down to at least 14. Looks like it's going to be 12 as he finds an Overgrown Tomb that enters the battlefield untapped. Faithless Looting will be flashback. We'll be discarding 2 cards here in just a moment. There's Chromatic Star. Let's cash it in. Ah, Ancient Stirrings. Huh, Ulamog. That's pretty neat.
I think Ulamog's going to play here.
I think he might be 1 short, having to... Actually, no, I think he should have exactly 10, if my math is still good. Okay, well, we'll go Wormcoil plus Chromatic Sphere. Eat a red land with the Karn. Ugin is going to go up to take care of the Bloodghast. Wormcoil Engine can defend the Planeswalkers. Here's a dredge of 4, and I think Mccloskey could stack his deck. I don't think there's anything he can find. Well, if this is the thought process that doing what Dom is doing quickly enough is good enough to beat this deck, I think I might be able to agree.
Mccloskey's draw here very much on the slow side.
Yep.
And I think if Tron can get to the 3rd turn with its head above water, even the powerful cards of Hogak are not going to be able to keep up with Wormcoil Engine and the Planeswalkers.
There's a Hogak, but Wormcoil Engine is a pretty nice answer, as you mentioned. Death Touch and Lifelink.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good. Couple of cards headed to the graveyard there from a flashback Faithless Looting, it appears. We'll head back over to Harvey. Harvey, we remember, has that Ulamog. So let me eat those and eat you. And Dom Harvey's going to win game number 1 here over Andrew Mccloskey. As Mono Green Tron very quickly up a game here over Hogak. So I want to quickly go to the sideboards. And I want to start with Andrew Mccloskey, who's got 2 Plague Engineer, 2 Fatal Push, a Force of Vigor, 4 Leyline of the Void, 3 Thoughtseizes, 2 Nature's Claim, and Shenanigans?
The anti-artifact stuff here, the Nature's Claims and the Shenanigans. I think I would bring in Thoughtseize for this matchup too. A lot of Harvey's draws are going to have 1 payoff card, and if you break it up, that could be an extra turn. It might actually dead end Harvey's draw. So yeah, I would bring in the discard spells too.
For Dominic Harvey, he's got 2 Dismembers, 3 Nature's Claims, 3 Veil of Summer, 4 Leyline of the Void, an Emrakul, the Promised End, and 2 Thrag Tusk.
The Leylines.
Pretty straightforward stuff, right?
Easy.
You get Leylines. You also have Relic Progenitus as well now at your sideboards with 7 real graveyard hate cards. Can get some of the other things that aren't ideal in this matchup out of your deck, like maybe that Dismember, and move on.
And you not only can you have some pieces that make using the graveyard hard, you win the game very quickly. That's part of the recipe too, because given enough time, Hogak can break out of Leyline. We've watched it all day today. But if you can assemble Tron and lock them out with some big pieces, even if they can kill it, it's not good enough.
Dom Harvey up a game, 4-0-1. The 26-year-old from Toronto, Ontario. Didn't play at all last year on the SCG Tour. He's played quite a bit here this year, though, with 3 open top 8s, 2 wins. An amateur podcaster and theater critic is the member of Team Nova, and he badly wants to qualify for the Players' Championship, and I'd be surprised if he didn't. He's shown a very, very high IQ when it comes to approaching metagames and playing the games. And this choice here this weekend of Mono Green Tron, don't see a ton of it here in the room, but he's off to a great start.
How many Canadians in the Players' Championship, I'm guessing?
We got Dilks. We might have Edgar. And then Dom. So 3. I don't think we're going to see Tarek the rest of the year since he made the move to Florida and is starting up the old Jobberino. I set the line at 2.5. Just don't know where I'd go from there. That's the big question. I'll take 3.
Tron with Leylines, talk about being exploitative with the new Mulligan system.
Oh, yeah. First their mana base and Leylines.
You just have Leyline plus turn 3 Tron just a huge percentage of the time.
Hey, if it's available, you might as well use it. That's what I say. Both these players taking a little look. Game 2 will be underway here in just a bit. Looks like Dom with the London Mulligan going to be sending 1 to the bottom. There's that. Cool. Here's a Thoughtseize. Sanctum of Ugin, Relic of Progenitus, Wormcoil Engine, and Ancient Stirring. So the graveyard's taken care of.
Yeah. But Harvey, this is one of those hands where if Mccloskey can just play stuff to the battlefield, that could be good enough. But it's going to be very hard for him to exploit his graveyard in any meaningful way.
One thing that's interesting to me here, partner, is this is a mulligan of 6, so what card did he put on the bottom?
Another big payoff card, maybe?
You think so? Because part of me would just say I'll just put the second Leyline to the bottom. I've got 1 and a Relic.
They can often blow up 1. It's hard for them to blow up 2.
Okay. Here's our Stirrings. That's the Tower of Power. We're going to head back over to Mccloskey. He'll play a Bloodstained Mire, and now he'll play a Bloodghast in for 1. I mean, one thing that's nice here if you're Harvey is he just picked up a copy of Urza's Power Plant, is his life total is very high. Got a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, it's really only a natural cast Vengevine that can meaningfully speed up their clock against 2 Leylines.
Because you're shutting out Hogak. Well, there's a naturally cast Vengevine, so here's an attack for 7.
Harvey's actually under some pressure now to get something.
He is. Well, that's a power plant plus an expedition map. So what that means is that Dom can complete Tron next turn. Here's a Faithless Looting for Andrew. He'll draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. There's an attack for 7. Harvey's down to 5. Stitcher's Supplier is going to mill 3 cards into the exile zone. Harvey's going to search up Urza's Mine, which means he can play Wormcoil Engine next turn. It makes you wonder if Thoughtseizing away Relic of Progenitus when your opponent has 2 Leylands on the battlefield was better than taking the Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah, but Harvey's got a lot of looks at other cards that are, the Cantrip gets into Tron. Once he has Tron, he has all number of good draws.
He does. It's hard for me to argue that. There's Tron. It looks like to me Wormcoil might just be the old stopper here, perhaps. Now you are playing against an opponent that does have 2 open mana for something like an Assassin's Trophy, but I think Assassin's Trophy just would have blown up a Tron land, right?
Right, because Assassin's Trophy lines up so poorly against Wormcoil Engine.
Mm-hmm. Now the one thing that Harvey can do, it appears he has a copy of Ugin the Spirit Dragon in hand. Ugin can minus and take care of a whole bunch of stuff, but I think it would take care of the ley lines as well. So this might be a little bit risky. Sanctum of Ugin will trigger. That's on flavor. There's a Walking Ballista. Okay, so there go the ley lines for good and everything that Andrew had on the battlefield. So the thought process there, if you're Harvey, is I bet you're out of gas because you didn't think these ley lines were going to leave the battlefield. And it appears to be the case. Ugin's going to move on up. Next is a Wormcoil Engine and a Walking Ballista. Mccloskey's going to draw a card. He is going to play a Bloodcast, and that is not it. Dominic Harvey going to win this game and match her over Andrew Mccloskey 2-0. Mono Green.